What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rewind podcast. Today, I'm lucky to be joined by a member of our team, Audrey. Audrey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, we are going to talk about your amazing transformation from the time you started at Rewind, actually from about last July until today, so about a year ago. And it's just tremendous. So, why don't you help explain what inspired your journey from last year until this year? She went from about 35% body fat to now she's about 20%, which is an amazing transformation. So let's hear it. What's going on? And give us a little, I'm sorry, let's get a little background from you, where you're from, what you were doing before you joined Rewind, sort of what life was like back then, and then sort of how things have transpired. But let's get a little background on yourself.
So I guess my main reason for wanting to change the way that I look was just because I had recently moved to Miami. So it was like a new stage in my life, like entering a new era, I guess you could say. And I knew all along that changes needed to be made. I knew that's probably how I shouldn't look and that I could look better, but I just got very comfortable in my life before moving here. It was just very different. I used to live in Kentucky before, so it doesn't take much to look okay, I guess, or the standard there is a lot different than it is here. And I was also it was just a different time. So I was not eating meat prior to doing this whole health journey. I was trying to live this vegetarian-esque type of lifestyle. I was doing 1 to 2 hot Pilates classes a week, which is 40 minutes of exercise with minimal weights. And that was just more of social hour with my friends. So yeah, prior to doing all of this, I was just someone who had just came out of college, going through the motions, trying to figure themselves out. Yeah.
So yeah, you basically moved down here at 25 years old, so a couple years out of college, and had just been spending a couple years in Louisville, sort of hanging around with a good little career, and then decided for a change in life.
Yeah, I mean, nothing was necessarily wrong with my life other than my health, but at the time, I didn't really necessarily see anything wrong with it until I started making all these changes. I was like, oh wow. But yeah, everything was good. Life was a little tricky because when it was time for me to start my adult life, quote unquote, it was COVID and just a lot of weirdness around. So I think that maybe had partially something to do with my weight gain and unhealthy habits. But yeah, just moving here was just totally new motivation. And that was one of my whole reasons for even wanting to move here, was to just kind of get a new take on life and start fresh and just have my life be what I want it to be.
Right. So we got really fortunate. We hired Audrey at Rewind 2 weeks after she moved down here, I think, basically. So it's been a great fit. And then, I would say that until you weighed a body, you look sort of fit or wore the right type of clothes, so that you didn't realize that your body fat percentage was where it was at until a couple months in, and we gave you a body composition and we ran some lab work for you, and then just sort of woke up and realized hey, I want to get healthy. What was it, the body comp or just living here for a couple months that sort of woke you up and felt hey, I need to change, I need to get healthy?
I would say for a while, especially my midsection, I knew it didn't look good, but I just didn't, I felt like I was at a place where I didn't really have any guidance on what to do about it. I knew it didn't look good, but I was also in my mind kind of is this just what happens when you start to get older, especially when you're here in Miami? It's of course a lot different, but back in Kentucky, it's like, well, this is what everyone's starting to look like. So is this just a part of aging? Like, is this something that I just have to come to terms with as like my like new adult body? So I always knew that like it was there, and like especially just like I could feel it, like I could see it and I could feel it, but it wasn't until like starting at Rewind, moving here, and then of course the body composition where it was like, oh, I got to figure out some type of game plan because I have all the potential, I'm just not meeting it.
Yeah, 100%. I think maybe one of the other things that helps like keep us motivated is that we constantly have people coming in and their body composition is improving. And so when you see people walking in through the door and they're dramatically different looking, it sort of inspires me to stay in shape. Maybe it inspired you originally to, as you saw, more and more people coming through the doors and getting fit.
Yeah, I just think like being in shape is so badass. So like that's like what's probably like one of the most like inspiring parts of it all. It's just like it's pretty badass to be like super fit.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like there's a saying that nothing tastes better than having a six pack.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Six
Aren't we all? So let me move on to the next question, which what do you think the biggest challenge was for you to get in shape? Initially, was it, finding some success, or was it finding motivation, or was it like routine? Like what challenges did you initially have in terms of becoming healthier?
I had a lot of challenges. Like it was not just like some simple thing for me because I had to change a lot of aspects of my life to like get to the body that I wanted. Like for instance, diet was like a huge part of it. I feel like I was like I said in the beginning, vegetarian for the most part, not really eating meat very often. So part of like getting your body in shape is like protein intake. So the diet was like a lot for me because I thought I would be eating healthy because all I'm eating is like fruits and vegetables, but like that really wasn't the case. And maybe that was like a result in me like over consuming in like different ways. Like,
Well, I've talked to some vegetarians that initially had a hard time staying in shape because it's so easy to eat pasta and breads and those type of things if you're not on point.
like I was definitely doing that. Or then like you have your vegetables and you're like dipping it in like so much ranch or like sauce, and it's like that's a lot of calories that you're putting in your body. So yeah, I was definitely like overeating. So just like changing the diet was like a huge thing. And then another part was like I didn't really know how to work out. So that was like I had mentioned, I was just doing the workout classes here and there with like friends and stuff. So like learning how to like weight train and what parts of your body to like work out on, like that work together, like figuring out how to work out was like a struggle for me, definitely. So the diet, how to work out, and then just like believing in myself, like, and feeling like worthy of a good body. Like I had said, like I just had kind of came to a point where I just like thought my body before what I have now was just like what it was going to be. Like that was just like what I was kind of stuck with, and maybe what I thought I deserved, which is like disappointing, but that was my reality for sure. So I think a lot of my transformation just came from like learning to believe in myself and like give myself credit.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is always mentally. People that we work with tend to not believe or understand what's possible. We hear quite a bit, you're younger than some of our other clients, and they get so used to being unhealthy and out of shape that they don't think having a 4-pack or a 6-pack or being fit, if that's their goal, is even a possibility anymore. I think one of the other challenges you had is obviously we ran some lab work, so your levels were a little bit low in certain areas. So we tried to optimize a couple things that definitely helped from an energy perspective.
Yeah, I mean, in the lab work alone, like just like I think one of the biggest things that like the lab work showed that I was able to like immediately start seeing changes was just taking like the thyroid supplement, because I felt like once I started taking that, had like a lot more energy and felt like a lot less like sluggish.
Yep.
So definitely like that was like probably what I was like most intrigued on in the lab work. And then when it did come back, like there were just like no denying that like I was not healthy in a lot of aspects. So
Yeah. I mean, your testosterone levels were on the low side.
everything. My lab work was like completely awful. I remember sending it to like some people in my family and they were like, "Oh my gosh, like yeah, this is nothing about this lab work is like anything to be happy about." So it's just nice to know like where you're at, because again, like in my mind I thought like, "Oh, I'm like vegetarian. I like whatever." It was just like all things in my head that I thought I was doing right, but the lab work just like really put a lot of things into perspective, because it doesn't lie. Labs don't lie.
Labs don't lie, numbers don't lie, body fat percentages don't lie. All those things just don't lie, right?
Yeah.
So what changes did you make from a diet and lifestyle perspective, and including like working out? I mean, I know that we talked a lot because we worked together, so I was trying to provide as much advice and insight as possible. And I always tell Audrey, and I always tell our other clients, like the minute that you want to have a good body and be healthy is the minute that you will start to have those things. And so some of this ends up being like prioritizing, right? Like maybe it's going to a workout class on a Friday night instead of happy hour, or making health the initial priority. So what did you change, to sort of start the ball rolling in terms of lifestyle and diet change?
I mean, I will say at the beginning of it all, like I didn't think that I needed to change anything, that like if I just added in this stuff, then like things would start to happen, but that like wasn't the case. So really what I did was just like strip away everything else in my life and like put working out first. And then I could do whatever it was else that I wanted to do. But like for instance, on a Tuesday night, and old me would have like wanted to go to dinner, have drinks with my friends, and then probably go home, chill out and go to bed. And then when I realized I want to start getting in shape, it was like I wouldn't even entertain any of those ideas or plans until at least I had like worked out or done something for myself, in terms of just like health.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that because I was there for some of this, was struggling with understanding diet and lifestyle in terms of consistency, right? So it's really easy to get 3 workouts in, or 4, and 5 workouts one week and then work out 2 times the next week. It's really easy maybe to eat healthy 4 days a week and then, eat really unhealthy for 3 days a week. So a lot of it is about consistency and sort of waking up and being accountable.
Well, I would say that like that was like a light switch went off when it came to consistency. Like I would just realize like, okay, if I'm going to get anywhere, like what's the point in doing this stuff 1 to 2 days a week when maybe I'll finally see what I want to see 3 years from now. But if I just like locked in and focused and like could commit 5-6 days a week to working out, eating right, and like doing everything, like I'll see results like super quick, and then all I have to do is maintain. And that's when I can maybe like pull back and work out just like 3 or 4 times a week, or like throw in a workout class that's like, maybe not doing much other than like just being active. But consistency was like the key, like getting 10,000 steps every single day. Like what's the point in doing it 3 days a week, if the other 4, all I'm getting is like 5,000 steps. Like there's no point in doing it if you don't like fully commit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my goal, which you hit, is always try to guide my clients on 1 to 2% body fat change per month over an extended period of time is really amazing result, because 6 months out, 12 months out, 1%, it's a 6% body fat change. In 12 months, it's 12. If you got 2% a month, it's 12%. In 6 months, it's 24%. In 12 months. In your case, you went from about 35% down to 20% in a little under a year, in about 10 months, which is perfect, which is literally right around the 1.5% body fat change per month. And so it was really consistent. Also, I know you had some ups and downs and some personal things going on, as we all do. No one has a perfectly smooth year. And that's where consistency over time, I think, is really critical. And pushing through those rough spots, and pushing through holidays, and, pushing through some slips and some points in life where you're not as motivated, are also critical, just to keep on path and, keep the sort of positive momentum going. Who and sort of what, supported you throughout the journey? How do you think support, I should say in a better way, because I know we did a lot of supporting you at Rewind. What do you think in terms of the importance of support and getting support from people in your life, and then also people who try to drag you down? Because sometimes people can be negative influences, let's be honest. And so I think when you're around a lot of healthy people and you're inspired by healthy people, that's a really big benefit. And then sometimes, if we spend too much time with people who are unhealthy, it's really easy to slip. So what did you find from a support perspective, people who were for you and against you?
Support's like a tricky thing, I think, a little bit, just because, like, I don't know. I think through all of this, I just found like the biggest supporter was really just like myself. Like I just like needed to commit that like I'm not doing all of this work for anyone but myself. So like just trying to prove to myself that like I deserve all of this. I'm like worthy of all of it. And then of course, like a lot of the clients at Rewind like always would like point out like that they were starting to notice that I like was working out or that I looked different, and that was like a huge motivator.
Yeah, we had someone the other day who didn't even recognize you.
Yeah. So definitely that. And then just like when people come in and they're like, oh, you're obviously fit, like that's just like very like you haven't even really got to know me, but you're already like pointing out that you can tell that I take care of myself. So like that's like a huge push for me to like keep on keeping on. And then just family and friends, especially people that like knew me before I started getting in shape, and then sending them like photos or talking to them and then being like, wait a second, like you look so different. Like,
yeah, what'd your grandma tell you the other day?
She's told me a lot of things. I don't know what.
Oh, I thought when you sent her the newest picture.
Yeah, I'd sent her some photos. I'm like, why didn't you used to tell me like how unhealthy I was, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but like, thank God you're in shape now. I'm like, yeah, you're telling me. So
we're doing a little screen share at the moment, so you can sort of see Audrey at the beginning and then in the middle of her journey. On the left photo, you can sort of see that would have been right around the time you started with Rewind, I would assume, or close.
A few months before, yeah.
And then you would have, what would the weight have been there? Around 135-ish? Mm-hmm. 135 and about 35% body fat. And then the right, that's probably around 21%, 22% body fat, mm-hmm. and weighing about what?
Like
I don't know.
117 pounds.
Yeah, great. And then here's we're doing another screen share. So just so there's a picture up showing Audrey working out, obviously feeling, really good about all the hard work. We always tell our clients that we can help them optimize hormones and put them on a good program, but they do the heavy lifting, and you certainly put in the amount of time. So what do you think is how many workouts a week are you averaging? What's the primarily strength training? Give us a little bit about the routine.
So currently I feel like I've like found a pretty good vibe when it comes to working out, and that took a long time of like trial and error, simply because again, I had no idea what I was doing at the gym. Like I didn't I didn't know anything, and like if you probably could have seen me the first like 2 to 3 months of working out, you probably would have been like, you know, when you go to the gym and you're like, that person has no idea what they're doing. Like, yeah, that was probably me. I was like finding videos online, whatever. But now I try to get 10,000 steps every single day. I'll give myself one day to slack, but I really, really try hard to get 10K every single day. And then I strength train like 5 days a week. I'll commit to 5 days. I try to do like lower body 3 days, upper body 2. And then I like to do a workout class on the 6th day. Doesn't have to be like the 6th day. It could be like any of the days. But yeah, 3 lower body, 2 upper body, and then a workout class. And definitely like weightlifting. Like I don't think I could ever stop weightlifting because I would just lose all my gains. So strength training is like crucial, the 10,000 steps, and then just the workout class for fun.
So 10,000 steps a week. Yeah, that's what I'm always trying to tell our clients. 10,000 steps a week.
A day.
I'm sorry, day. Yeah, that's right. Every day, no days off. Weightlifting, strength training to me, 4 to 5 days a week. And if you do those two things, you almost will always break even at a minimum, if not have gains.
Yes.
I'm going to do a screen share right now of the body composition so we can see the dramatic improvement. That was, I have the wrong ones up. I had the 19.8% to the 28.4%. Let me see if I had the other one. Oh, there's the other one. And then here is the initial one. So I do have it. So the initial body composition is 34% body fat. And hold on, I gotta now drag this one over. And the most recent, or one of the most recent ones, which you're really similar to this one, is 19.8%. So you only lost about 13 pounds, but you gained 9 pounds of lean mass, and you lost 22 pounds of fat, which is just outstanding.
Thank you.
So really, really incredible. All the hard work paid off. 15% body fat, 10 months, 1.5% a month, and it's all through consistency and just grinding through it, right?
Yeah, consistency is key, and then just like having goals that you like want to meet, and like just believing in yourself, and like knowing that like everyone's worthy of like being in shape. It like that's how life should be, is like lived healthy,
Yeah.
and active. And I don't know, like I would say, just back to like the initial part of this all, like I would say one of the biggest struggles, and I would say it's not just for me but probably a lot of people, is just coming to the terms that like you are out of shape, and that like you are unhealthy, and like changes need to be made. Like I was in denial, for like so long, of like I don't look bad, or like I'm not
You can use
overweight. The word. I'm not fat. I'm not overweight. Like I'm fine. And it was like, no. So that was like the biggest thing, just like coming to terms of like, you look bad and you should do something about it. And you probably feel bad too. So
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things about being 35% obesity is not a lot of people realize that they're, 35% body fat. They're right on the edge of obesity. And then, what happens is that if you don't realize it, then you just sort of keep going. And then all of a sudden you end up in the 40% and the 50%. And so it's really difficult. That happened to me also. Prior to getting in shape, I was obese. I was just dragging. I got my hormones optimized. I got in shape. And that was 12 years ago. And now I've been in really healthy, ever since my initial sort of 6-month transformation. it gives me no great pleasure having all these heavy pictures of myself where I had like a belly and didn't look very good, and sort of I don't want to say embarrassed, but definitely not proud of the shape that I was in, because I was just going down an unhealthy path, and then acknowledging it to myself that I needed to focus and put health number one. And all of the going out and partying and, or going out to dinners and eating unhealthy food, it just is not a priority, because health is the one thing we have until we don't have it. We tend to, I think, just sort of take it for granted until we don't feel great.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so it's just, it's one of those things that realizing it when you're young, and now you are great because at 26, you look amazing, have totally transformed. And now it's a lifelong, I'm assuming it's a lifelong passion, right?
Definitely. Like, that's what I was going to say. It's not just like a one and done. Like, this is a forever journey that I'll be on. So yeah, like I said, like just committing and consistency and all of those things, because being in shape and feeling good is like an everyday job.
Yeah. I would say because we have 2 body comps up there too. So at first, I think what really helped you out was optimizing the hormones and optimizing your levels, and that helped you have the energy to go to the gym and to build muscle. Most of your muscle gain came in that initial, I think, probably 4 or 5 months if we look at the body comps. So that's one great thing that we have. We run these body comps in the office, and we can always take a look at muscle gain versus fat loss. And then we know, is diet on or not diet on, right? And we know if the strength training is working or the strength training is not working. And initially, I don't think you built a lot of muscle. So if I take a look at back, and you can address this and talk about how your workouts changed, because you didn't really know. And I got on you a little bit about the TikTok videos and all that, because at first, for the first month or two, you weren't putting on a lot of muscle. And then all of a sudden overnight, I think you got the workouts more honed in and we got the hormones optimized. You then put on 10 pounds of muscle pretty quick and dropped 10 pounds of fat. And then sort of since that point, it's been more about sort of fat reduction. So how would you say, like, don't you think measuring, first of all, I know it's every week that we were doing it for a while, but the body comp and seeing the feedback from last week's results, you could tell where the workout's working. Was the diet on point? But so how have the workouts transformed?
The body comps were like a huge help, and I feel like so lucky that I was like able to like have that machine.
Yeah, we have a luxury, right?
Yeah.
It's a luxury.
Like, that helped me out tremendously. And then like even now when I'm like in a lot better shape, like I'll be like, oh my gosh, I went a whole X amount of time and I didn't gain any muscle. And it's like, now I know I can like I need to try to do heavier weights at the gym, like to try to see progress. What was the question?
Yeah, just so how did the workouts evolve? So maybe you can work through like what were you doing the first couple of months versus how you work out now?
Yeah, so I would just go maybe do like 3 exercises. Okay, first of all, I was never working out specific body parts. I was literally doing a full body workout every single time I would go to the gym. And working out like a full body is fine. Like sometimes I'll do that if I don't go to workout class. I'll do like a full body day. Like that's fine. But I was never like taking time to do like, okay, today I'm going to work just on my glutes or my biceps or my shoulders or my back. Like I was literally just like flinging weights around. And, like,
just using random machines, basically?
Machines, dumbbells, like whatever. And again, like I was always just like working out full body. Then you got me that.
I was going to ask you, I got as a gift because I felt like Audrey was struggling. I got her this like $15 book off of Amazon, which is like men's fitness workouts. But did that help? It was a good eye opener, right?
It showed me like exercises, number one, how to do them, because I would also be like, okay, I want to like grow my butt, for example. So I'm going to like do this like ridiculous amount of weight that I can't do, try to do an exercise, and then like I would end up hurting myself or like targeting a completely like wrong area that I wasn't even trying to do, because again I had no idea on like form and like any of that. So got that book, started like doing like back and bi days, chest and tries, like targeting specific muscle groups. And then like that's when I would say like I really started to see changes in my body. But I would say at the beginning, like strength training aside, like walking the 10,000 steps a day is when I started to see just like fat kind of like falling off.
Yep.
So even if you could just do that alone, you could still see some progress for sure.
Yeah, I think it's like the 10,000 steps a day is a good indication of overall activity of whether you're being active in life. And if you're active in life, I think that it's difficult to gain weight if you do it all the time.
Yeah, and like just the workouts alone, like the way that they were like affecting my like overall being, like sure my body was changing and like I looked better, I felt better, but like I could just tell like mentally I was getting like so much stronger. My like I would have considered myself confident before starting any of this, but when I started to see changes, like I just feel like so much more confident in myself. I feel like I can like accomplish anything, like my mental health, and it just felt like I was like taking like time to do something for myself, whereas like before I was just like going through all the motions of just like living life, hanging out with people, doing whatever. But it's like now that I feel like so much more like mentally strong, I just feel like now it's like, no, I'm gonna take an hour for myself to do something that's gonna better me. Like,
Yeah. Your body is one of those things that the more you put into it, it's like a bank. The more time and effort you put into it, the more you get out of it.
yeah.
And so I definitely, I'm 54. So at this age, taking care of myself is really key. And, I had healthy habits when I was your age, and then I got away from those healthy habits for a while. And then it's great. I've had them for the last 12 years. So I think it's key.
Yeah, like I don't know, before when I was like having a bad day, like I would probably like order food, get on my couch, watch a show, and like cry myself to sleep. But,
Maybe have a glass of wine.
yeah. But like now when I like feel like not mentally strong or like I'm having a rough time, I'm like, I'm just going to go to the gym, even if all I do is just walk on the treadmill. And literally within like once I hit like that like 15, 20-minute threshold, I'm like, okay, I feel a lot better. So yeah, just like being active, like really, really helped me just get like mentally tough and like feel good. And I don't know, I just think your mental is like one of the most important things to like feeling good. And when you're active and you work out, you will feel a lot better mentally.
Yeah. I also recommend to all of our clients to try to take a picture every Monday morning and sort of their workout clothes, or, the guys with just shirtless and shorts, and for the females in some type of workout, yoga top and shorts, because I think that seeing changes in the photos. So, did you do something like that, or set some milestones and some like things to motivate you to keep you focused? Like what helped keep you going?
Yeah, I will say that's like one of my regrets, because again, like I was saying, I had a really hard time coming to terms that like I was I was fat, okay, and I didn't take very many pictures at the beginning, like
Because you didn't want to take. I know clients tell me that all the time. They don't want to take pictures because they realize that they don't like the way they look.
Yeah, so that's like one of my big regrets. But then I was like, screw it, I'm taking the pics, and if I feel disgusting or like not my best, I can look back and just know that I'm never going there again. So some of my things was like, I had a bikini that like will fit regardless. So I had taken photos of it in it when I first started. Again, at 3 months, 6 months, and I need to take like some more photos in it, because it's just like the fit of the bikini has completely changed. My body has changed, and then it's just like seeing yourself in the same outfit or the same like whatever.
Right.
It's just like wow, you know? So
And you've had to get all new clothes or a lot of new clothes, correct?
all new clothes, literally, like, I am still working on that because I put something on and I'm like, this doesn't fit. And it used to be tight. It used to be
Yeah.
tight. Like, I used to have to squeeze my fat thighs into it. And like, now there's no way it's fitting. And I do remember like a conversation I had with like my friend once where like, I think I was maybe moving or something. And I'm like, I can get rid of any like pants that are a size 25. And she's like, well, no, I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, well, you don't understand. Like, I'm into my adult body now. I'm never going to be able to fit size 25 again, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
Then
you got rid of your small
got
clothes?
rid of it because I'm like, I'm in my woman body now. And like, this is just how it's going to be. Then like a few weeks ago, I like need to go shopping for jeans. And I'm like now size 24 in jeans. And
Oh, wow.
I thought that like that was like,
They're not still back in Kentucky? You didn't leave them back in Kentucky? Those.
no, I thought it had come and gone. And I remember like getting such an attitude with her, probably because I felt defensive about my body.
Right.
But I'm just like, I'm never going to be that size again. Like, you can have them. I got to get rid of them, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that should have been a huge sign there. So,
Yeah. So what I always feel like I tell our clients that I think the most important aspect of, like hormone optimization or getting healthy is the positive energy, feeling good. And then because you feel good, you go to the gym more frequently. And then because you go to the gym more frequently and your hormones are optimized, you're seeing better results and you eat a little bit healthier and it becomes this positive cycle. So what would you say, like, how did this journey affect you emotionally, mentally? I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but just sort of focus on that aspect of it.
I don't know. I would say, like, before I like started taking care of myself, and that again wasn't just through the working out, like I had to start like taking some supplements, like understanding like areas that I was like low in or ways I could improve. Like, I would say I was like very mentally weak. Like, everything, I would develop everything into a problem that like couldn't be solved, or the slightest thing could happen and it was the end of the world. And like, I just had like a hard time like managing my emotions. And like now, like, it really takes like a lot to bother me or get me upset. So I don't know. I just think like when I started doing all of this stuff, like, it just was like, I just felt better. Like,
Well, I think some of it, right, is seeing a little bit of success, and then you start to have a little success and you feel better and it's emotional, and you prove to yourself you can do some things that you didn't think were possible.
yeah, just like seeing, I guess it's like seeing what you're capable in. Like, for instance, I was saying like something would happen, it would be the end of the world to me, or like, how am I going to solve this? How am I going to fix this? And it's like, okay, well, you've now completely changed your body. So what can't you do? Like, that used to be something you thought you would never be able to do, or like this hardest thing on your list, and you've done it. So like, the rest of the stuff is just like so small now.
Yeah, 100%. And you're not even done, right? I mean, I know that you're not done yet with your physical transformation. You're still a couple percentage points away from where you want to be. Yeah. And then, always it gets a little bit more difficult towards the end, to get in shape. So I'm sure that you're going to get there. But tell us, I just want people to know, like, how much weight are you doing on those thrusts for the glutes that people do versus what you started with? Because I know that, like, that's both a physical and mental lift, right? Going to the gym and putting on weights where you need spotters.
Yeah. So literally, to be like completely honest, I used to like struggle with like 5-pound dumbbells to like do like shoulder press, lateral raises. Like, the 5 pounds, if those were taken at the gym, like, I might as well just leave because that's all I could do. Like, it was pretty embarrassing. And now I'm like, on all arm workouts, I can do anywhere from like 15 to 25-pound dumbbells, kind of dependent upon the exercise. When it comes to lower body, I would say I'm able to do like, depending on the exercise, probably like 60 to 100 pounds more than I was doing like starting out. Like I'm
A lot stronger,
not
right?
to brag, but I'm like pretty strong, and like I'll sometimes like compare myself, not in a negative way, and to like each their own, but I'll like look at what other people are doing versus what I'm doing, and I'm like, it's definitely like reassuring. I'm like, wait a second, I'm like actually pretty strong. And like now I'm not like waiting around for the 5 or 10 pound like dumbbells because everyone's using those in the gym. Like, because,
Yeah.
you know, and now it's like I can just use like, oh, the 20s are available. I'll just use those for my like shoulders or my biceps. Like, and that makes you also just feel like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Feels like a champ when you're lifting heavier weights than some of
Yeah.
the guys around you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or like sometimes guys will be working out. I'm like, can he hurry up with the 25-pound dumbbells? Like, I need to use them. And then it's like, we're using the same weight. Like, yeah, it's very, I would say like progressing in the weights was also just something that felt like really good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so now, did you have any setbacks, any difficulties that you had to overcome in the past year? You know, some ups and downs from like the transformation, some lulls, some, you know, grinding it out moments, questioning things.
Yeah, I would say the first like 3 months of all of this was like the hardest, just because I just felt like again, like I didn't really know much of what I was doing. I was trying, or at least I felt like I was trying. And then when I wasn't seeing any results, it was just like, dude, for what? Like, why am I doing all of this if I'm not even like seeing or noticing anything? And so like that was like one thing I struggled with, was just to like keep pushing because like eventually it will start. And like, again, how you always say, when someone who sees themselves every single day isn't going to notice change as much as someone who sees you once a month. So that was like one of my
Yeah.
biggest. And then I like, of course, just had some like,
Oop, there goes the can. It's windy in Miami sometimes, right?
I of course had some like family stuff that happened. But I'm like very thankful, and like the only way I can be, that I like did start this journey a little bit before all of that happened, because it like was a great outlet for me to like stay like mentally strong and like feel okay. Like I feel like if I wouldn't have started making all of these changes and the stuff that happened to me happened, I could have been 40% body fat and like miserable and depressed and like going nowhere in life. So I don't know. I think that that's another huge thing about all of this and feeling good and like getting yourself together, is that when you are going through like really hard times, you can turn to stuff like this and you can get through it.
Yeah. I learned a lesson a long time ago. I don't even know how, but you know, a lot of times when people are going through rough times, maybe they go out, they party. We live in Miami, so it's super easy to get into sort of the party scene. You're going through a rough time, you know, a member of the family passes away or something happens career-wise, and it's really easy to get distracted and rolled into the, you know, sort of nightlife in Miami. And that's just one of the things that I learned a long time ago, was those are the times to be introspective, stay away from that. You know, you want to be as focused mentally as you go through difficult times. And the one thing we have is our health. So if we can stay healthy and stay focused on that, and it's a good sort of stress reliever, that it's just super, super critical in terms of helping us overcome the rough spots in life versus, like you said, you know, people could go out too much. They could start to eat more. They could throw on weight, sit on the couch. And so, you know, I just think that it's always to try to work out, stay healthy, and keep something good. Because even when bad things are happening, at least staying physically fit and healthy and trying to, stay good is something that could be like a positive influence of life.
Yeah. And like, it just, I don't know, something about being healthy just puts a lot of things into perspective of like how much you do have to be grateful for and like thankful for. So
look at this beautiful, we have fortunate to live in Miami and have beautiful weather, and there's a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just feel like when you're healthy overall, mental, physically, whatever, you just tend to like appreciate things more and like take the time to like practice like gratitude and stuff, because again, like you just have like mental clarity and you feel so much better and you're able to like be a lot happier with life and what all it has to offer.
Yep. All right, so here's one for you. So you're down 15% body fat. You have 11 or 10 pounds more of muscle. You're down like 22 pounds of fat. So how has this transformation changed your daily life? I mean, besides the fact Audrey lives really close to the office, so sometimes she walks to the office and people literally stop their cars and try to like get her phone number. So other than that, how has it transformed your life? Like,
I don't know, like I said, I was like pretty confident and like personable before, but like now I just feel like I could literally have a conversation with anyone about anything. And I think that just like opens a lot of like opportunities and doors in life, like feeling good and looking good. You like present that whole like vibe to the world and like you just get a lot more out of life.
yeah.
So I would say like that's kind of where I feel like I'm at right now. It's just like I'm like reaping all of the benefits that like life has to offer, and it's because like I look good, I feel good, and like that's what I feel like, and that's what I try to like give off of just happiness, because I feel so good. And
well, there has to be a sense of accomplishment, obviously, because even working at Rewind and having the body comp scale and, hormones are better and vitamin levels are better, there's still a lot of hard work involved, a lot of time spent in the gym, a lot of steps.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of achievement. And there's like something to be said for when you achieve something, it gives you like a mental boost.
Yeah. So I definitely think my life has changed in just like overall energy that I receive and the energy that I'm able to give. My life has changed mentally, physically. It's just, I don't have anything negative to say. Like, it's just been like a really, really positive experience for me. And it's just like made me want to push others to do the same and like take care of themselves, because if you feel any type of about life or like not so great, like doing something like this can just really completely change all of that. So
yeah, 100%. Also, talk about a little bit about your I know there are nights now where you don't have your 10,000 steps or you didn't get your workout in and you're dragging, but you force yourself to go because you have goals, right? So this is where I think some goals keep you motivated, right?
yeah, I think goals are like crucial to have, because then you're like working towards something and you don't necessarily just feel like you're going through the motions of like doing it to be doing it. It's like, I'm doing this because I want to have abs, or I'm doing this because I want to improve and like whatever, like I just think goals are so crucial to have in any journey. It doesn't have to be just a health journey, but in any journey in life, I just think like goals are so important, and it just makes wanting to do the work easier. Like if I didn't have goals, I'd probably be okay with having the 8K steps at 10 o'clock at night and just crashing out on the couch.
Yeah.
But since I have a goal, I'm not okay with the 8K steps. I'm going to get up and I'm going to get the 2,000 more, because I have something to accomplish or prove.
When I always tell people that extra 2,000 steps 3 times a week is probably 500, 600 calories a week, which is like 6 pounds a year, which is the difference between gaining 6 pounds a year or nothing. So it's super critical to get your butt off that couch and stop watching and, Netflix.
Or
and
even like sometimes I'll be like on my couch scrolling and I'm like, dude, just get up and walk and scroll. You can still scroll. You can still get on the phone. but like get up and walk. Like there's really just no excuse for it. Like literally that's like my biggest thing. I'm like, well, I could watch or I could do, and it's like, well, you can just go walk on the treadmill and do those things. So
100%. All right. So here's a good question for you. What advice would you give others who want to start their transformation?
I feel like I have a lot of advice at this point. I would say like doing the whole running your lab work is like a huge thing.
It's a big eye opener, isn't it?
Definitely. And then like it just helps you understand your body a lot better because everyone is different. And like I feel like before I did the lab work, I would want to try out every supplement under the sun because I heard or saw
This is going to
that
help, right?
Yeah. And then it was like, no, if you literally like this is what you're low and this is what would benefit you. Like if you just took these 3 supplements every day, you'll see way better results than you would trying out all this stuff that you see on the internet. So that's like, and it doesn't matter your age. Like everyone should be frequently like running lab work just to know like what's going on in here, you know, because all that affects like
Exactly.
up here. So that's like one piece of advice. My other would just be like learning to come to terms with your reality, whether it's unhealthy or healthy, and then just like setting a goal to be better. I think everyone should set goals to be better, to improve. Like you should just want to be better. And I think that's like some advice that I would give to someone. Like, are you okay with how you are now, or do you want to be better? And I think most people would say they want to be better. Staying consistent, staying strong. Yeah. And like, I don't know, for like young girls, it's just nice to be in shape. Like everything about life is just so much better when you're healthy. Like, I don't know, that would be like my biggest advice to someone my age is just like everything will be so much better if you can just like take care of yourself.
We live in Miami, so I mean, I meet with so many people and I always use this, but this is regardless of Miami. And I just think it's in general. Like I always say, well, we have pool parties, we have boats, we're always outdoors. So, you know, life is definitely better when you're healthier and you feel better and you're outdoors and you have your shirt off as a guy and being in shape. And, you know, it's not to be superficial. It's just about being healthy. I think one of the issues that we have in today's world is that, you know, no one should ever be body shamed because it's terrible. Obviously, no one should ever be bullied. But we also have to have conversations about what healthy is. Yeah. And we just are living through these times where we're having sort of a split in health, and you have some people who are biohackers and into the health movement that they're seeing levels of health that just we didn't think is possible. And then on the flip side, we just have more and more people that are just eating less and less healthy or getting in worse shape. So it's such a benefit in terms of like energy levels and, you know, being healthy and optimizing things, and then quality of life. I mean, would you say your quality of life has improved as well now that you're in better shape? You know, because of course it's great to look better and look great, but how about quality of life? Like less aches, less pains.
Well, that's what I was just saying earlier, like about how just mentally strong I am now. Like any little like bump in the road would be like the end of the world for me. I'd work myself up. Also, like ever since starting this, I do not experience anxiety like I used to. Like I used to have such bad anxiety about everything, get so caught up in my like thoughts and just like you know, and like I don't have that anymore. And I think that's like a big thing about all of this is just like I literally thought I would have anxiety for like ever, and now it's like super rare that I go back to moments like that.
Yeah, that's great. So it's I mean, so many people think it's like they come to us for the physical, they want to look better. In reality, it's feeling better, being able to deal with things better. I think the emotional benefits far outweigh any of the physical, but they're both super important.
Yeah, so back to just the advice thing, I would just say to like someone like just start your journey and feeling better and taking care of yourself, just start. It doesn't matter how or what you do, but just like get going and like just start, because then you'll just start to see all kinds of benefits. But consistency is definitely key.
And nothing is impossible, right? Nothing is impossible.
No, like I said, I thought I was stuck with that body that was in the photos, the before photos before. Like I just thought like, oh, this is my body. Like,
But no more, right?
No, it's not. Yeah. So
Awesome. How about, what are your goals for the future? Do you have like future health goals?
Yeah.
Future what's going on in the future for Audrey?
I have big goals that like wouldn't have even popped in my mind a year ago. So one of them being like, just the only one that's really appearance wise is like, I do want to have abs. Like
Abs, yeah, still working on it.
abs is something, and that just comes back to the body fat. Like I got to get it
Three
down a
more
little lower.
percent.
I want to have abs. I want to grow my butt, definitely.
Yep.
And just be like toned up. And then I don't know, like then I want to maybe like start to like, now that I have like a very like baseline understanding of like health, just like diving into it more and like understanding like other things that I can do to just like really optimize like my health. You know what I'm saying? Like trying out different like cold plunging and like different like little things that you can do that just like really take it to the next level, or like challenge myself if it's maybe in like a Pilates aspect, or maybe I don't think I would ever do this, but like taking up like running or like whatever it might be, because like now that I'm healthy, I can do all of that stuff and I can like master it. So definitely like finding some type of like hobby that I can do that's like physical.
Yep.
And just becoming like really good at it and like killer at it. The abs, and then just like staying on like a supplement grind for sure. Because like sometimes I won't take the supplements and I'll be like,
Got to be consistent.
yeah, so that, and then just maybe trying out different like peptides that you can do, like
Some have helped in the past.
yeah,
You tried some CJC ipamorelin and
Yeah.
some testosterone and some semaglutide and some Tirzepatide.
Yeah.
All small little things here and there for tweaks.
Yeah, so I just think like this has opened a lot of doors for me, and I just want to like start trying out a bunch of different things and like just figuring more out about like health and wellness for sure, and just that's my thing now.
It's a lifelong journey. You're like
Yeah.
year 1 into it, and I'm year like 12 into it. And I find that I'm learning more every single year and just building up the knowledge, and you'll find the same too.
Yeah, and like I have little goals, of course, like, you know, next time I do the leg press, like I want to try to do 170 pounds. Like I have like little stuff like that, but my major goals are just like continue on consistently and like get those abs and just like dive more into like the health and wellness world.
Yep. Well, we're very fortunate to have Audrey Rewind. It's been really sort of meaningful for us to watch the transformation. Just to do a recap, you know, Audrey moved down from Kentucky last year around May, started with us mid-May. You know, we started working on her health in June. She was around 35% body fat.
I think it was July when we started.
Yeah, July was when we started, but after you were with Rewind for a couple months,
Okay.
like she was working with us for 2 months, and that's sort of when we were like, hey, how about running some body comp? Let's run some labs. Let's try to get her healthy. So we started working on that. That was around 35% body fat. And then she's put in a lot of time and effort. Of course, we helped. We optimized some things. And then, you know, I promise you, as the owner of a practice, we can optimize hormones, we can optimize levels, but it still requires a lot of like work and effort and lifestyle change. And so that's where Audrey, all of you know, I always call it the heavy lifting. She did all of the heavy lifting. Super proud and happy for her, you know, to have gone from, you know, 35% body fat down to, you know, 20%, basically. Still wants to get a little bit better, and to have added, you know, 10 pounds of muscle while dropping 22 pounds of fat is impressive. It happens slowly over time, but it's great because it was persistent and sustainable. I always tell our clients that, like, diets, people who are on diets are always on diets, so they don't work. They don't work. What works is just creating a healthy lifestyle. And then the world is sort of yours, where you get to 20%. And I'm sure that you feel this way. Like, it's great to be here, but it's not good enough.
No,
I'm sure you want better things and you want to be fitter.
Yeah.
Like, I call it a paradigm shift of health, which is once you get into pretty good shape, you'll know if you ever go a little bit backwards because you've had some hiccups in there, then you're like totally down and you don't like it, even though you're way better than you were. And so it's a constant evolution. And so, you know, what do you think? Like, final thoughts, this is just the beginning of the journey.
For sure.
Worth it. By the way, one other thing, has it been hard? Like, if you look back on, like,
I thought it was gonna be just like some like miserable life ending. Like, I remember I would complain to Brian, like, am I never gonna have Starbucks again? And now I don't even think about Starbucks. Like, that's not even like
right, like that.
my thing.
It's a little reprogramming of the mind, right?
Yeah, and it's like when you start the journey, you might think like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be difficult. But when you look back after a year of progress, you're like, okay, that wasn't that hard. So now, like, now what can I do? Because it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not hard.
I think where people think that it's more difficult than it is because they're always trying to, like, they think that they could change their body fat percentage by 10 percentage points in a month. And they start off on this like unsustainable like path. Yeah. And in reality, very few people have the mental focus to continue on that super strict way of living. Where I think it's easy when you think about it is, I don't work out 3 hours a day. You don't work out 3 hours a day. It's literally like trying to carve out 45 to 60 minutes of strength training 5 days a week, 6 if you're lucky, 4 if you're unlucky, trying to squeeze in 10,000 steps a day, and then eating somewhat healthy. And it doesn't require perfection.
And like, again, once you start doing all of this stuff, like within a month or two, it's just like such second nature. Like, again, like, I don't think about the Starbucks anymore. I don't think about like all of the unhealthy habits. The only thing I think about now are the healthy ones. And like, it's very easy to like turn the bad habits away when you start to see change, feel change.
Right. And here's like a crazy one, but you know, living in Miami, everyone loves to go boating and doing all of this stuff. And so people would think, you know, not going boating or not going out to a happy hour or some type of huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Now, like, would you rather be, so here's the thing, like, would you rather be where you're at now in the physical shape that you are now and looking the way that you do now, which is really great and feeling really good, or would you rather be how you were and have gone boating 12 more times and gone out to a bunch of
stuff matters to me.
I mean, it's crazy, right?
That stuff's fun, don't get me wrong, and like, I enjoy that stuff, but I enjoy it and will enjoy it 10 times more feeling and looking the way that I do now. So I don't know, like, it's just important to prioritize things, and I think health should be, you know, number one.
100%. Health is number one.
Yeah.
All right. Any parting, like, last shots? Any last thoughts?
I just want to say, like, thank you to you. Thank you to Rewind. Like, yeah, it's like super life-changing, and I'm like very thankful for it. So,
well, it's our pleasure, my pleasure. You're like great to work with, and it's been amazing to watch her transform over the last year, to see her have the confidence where just to do things that she didn't think was possible. And then all of a sudden, it's like a year later, she's totally transformed. She works harder than ever, and, you know, obviously looks great, feels great. So it's really been awesome to see from my perspective and our perspective as well.
yeah.
All right. Listen, if you like this video, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and we will catch you at the next episode.